You knew when you came into this room that everything changes, right? Look around you. These people understand you. Your people are in the room. I stood before many of you 1 year ago and told you to hire APlayers. APlayers own it, solve it, do it. And nothing has changed. Great businesses have APlayers and poor businesses do not. But just how much better is an APlayer? The way that we think of most statistical distributions is usually in a bell curve. We tend to think that we've probably got some low performers, we're going to have some high performers, and then most people are in the middle. Most people we would just call average. Our intuition might suggest that an APlayer is twice as productive as an average performer. But reality is not linear. A high performer is 400% more productive than an average performer in a standard role. And the gap widens with job complexity. In fact, it widens until you can no longer measure it because it goes exponential. But for a typically high complexity role, one in which there's interaction with other people and in which there's maybe some decision making, an APlayer could be an astounding 800% more productive. Let that sink in. Let's apply this to a real-world scenario. Imagine you have a critical program of cross-functional initiatives, absolutely critical to the success of your business, critical to the execution of your business strategy. That program is going to take 3 years. 3 years to realize the full value. That is value for your customers, value, of course, for you, your shareholders, profit, and business growth. 3 years to achieve full value. Now what we do is we go into your business and we're going to swap out 20% of the average performers with high performers. Not everybody, and only the average ones. We're going to swap out 2 out of every 10. We're going to swap out average for high performers. Using that 4 times multiplier, you will get there in less than 2 years. And if you have high complexity roles, and most of you do, then you can use the 8 times multiplier, and you get there in less than 1 year. If you have complex work to do, and I know all of you do not underestimate the power of having APlayer talent in your business. Strategic talent is not just a force multiplier, it's a friggin' time machine. Time and again, small teams of APlayers will run rings around much larger established teams of average performers. And that's what I want you to think about today. Not just people, but teams of people. Because very few of us work by ourselves and achieve results by ourselves. And yet, history and the media does glorify the performance of solo individuals. And sure, history has given us some incredible scientists. It has given us and left us with the works of many fine individual painters. And of course, we have many great, great solo athletes too. Just how great? The world record for the 400 meters is 43 seconds. It is a stunning peak example of what one individual can achieve alone. But here's the reality of the 21st century. None of us work alone anymore. And that's why teamwork beats talent. And the reason that teamwork is more important than ever today is because the world has become increasingly complex. That complexity demands specialization, and specialists have to work together in order to achieve results. The ultimate example of this is in healthcare. A few hundred years ago, you had one doctor, probably the only person in town that could afford the education. Back then, she was your physician for everything, largely because so little was understood and known about the human body. But fast forward to today, and we're in an era of hyper-specialization. There are more than 150 new clinical trials every single day. It's too much for one brain to hold. There's too much there. Doctors will spend their entire careers, therefore, specializing perhaps in just a single organ in the human body. Healthcare today is no longer a solo sport. Healthcare today requires teams of specialists trusting and exchanging information with one another in order to achieve success, in order to maintain the health of everybody in this room. Again, sports provides an elegant example. Think of the 4x100 meter relay race. This is more complicated than the solo 100 meters. The 4 runners must start at different times, and they must pass between them a baton. The world record for the 4x100 meter relay is 36.84 seconds, set at the Olympics in 2012 in London, my home city. I was there, at home. Last week, YouTube researching these slides. That's 14% faster than the fastest human on Earth. Why? The runners aren't magically faster. What's going on here? The difference is between individual effort and the multiplier of synchronization. That's the power of teamwork. Now, in business, the baton isn't this piece of metal. The baton is trust in information. If I trust your information, then I can take your information as an input and I can immediately build upon it. If I don't trust your information, I have to go back to the source. I have to interpret it myself, probably at great inefficiency because it's your specialism, not mine. And perhaps I end up doing your work for you. And that's where we lose our 14%, except in business, it's far, far more than 14%. How many hours, days, and weeks have we all wasted firefighting issues that could have been prevented if only this baton had safely reached the next hand in one piece? When trust is broken, the bond breaks, the baton falls. This costs us time, energy, productivity, and reputation. And that's why teamwork beats talent. It's not enough anymore to even have a team of all stars, a team in which each individual seems to have the key to success. What success requires is an all-star team. The team is greater than the sum of its parts. Let me show you the difference. The 1992 US Olympic basketball team was better known as the Dream Team. It was the first time that the Olympic Committee allowed NBA players to compete. It meant that living legends, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, were able to compete on the global stage for the first time. But in their first month, they lost a game against a college team. We got killed out there, said Jordan. We were so out of sync. Even the Dream Team had to learn to be a team. Except they weren't dropping the baton. They were dropping the ball. Contrast that with the 2014 German World Cup team. We have any Germans in the room? This team had no superstars. No individual stood out. Yet in their semi-final game against Brazil, they triumphed 7-1 before going on to beat Argentina in the final. Germany's triumph was a victory of system over celebrity. The Germans were in sync, and the Germans were unstoppable. And that's why investors bet on teams, not just ideas. 95% of investors say that team alignment is the greatest factor in their investing decisions. Why? Because the data says when that top team is aligned, it doubles their chance of winning. It's a team game. If you are a leader, and of course, this is a room of leaders, then your job has changed. Your job is not to run the race. The job that befalls you as a leader is to synchronize your teams and ensure that the baton doesn't get dropped. When you leave this room today, everything changes because your ultimate objective as a leader is to build a winning team. Thank you.